We just got some horrible news about Franz Wagner from the Orlando Magic. He has just torn his right oblique and is going to be missing at least the next month or so, reported by Shams about half an hour ago. The same exact injury as Paulo Banchero, and that is horrible to see if you're an Orlando Magic fan, because Franz Wagner has honestly been having an all-star caliber season and has done a great job with missing Paulo Banchero and has led this Orlando Magic team to a record of 16-9 and is a very feisty and competitive team in this Eastern Conference. And if you're a Magic fan, this must be super disappointing because you already know you're probably going to be losing a lot over the next couple months, right? You got to play Phoenix on Sunday tomorrow, then you got to play Milwaukee on Tuesday, the Thunder on Thursday, you got the Heat, then Boston, then back to the Heat, then to New York. Like over the next 7 to 8 games, it's going to be a really rough schedule for the Orlando Magic coming up, and they honestly are going to go on a huge losing streak and are going to drop a lot in the Eastern Conference. Like, I would not be surprised if this Orlando Magic team in the next 8 games are playing very tough opponents. I would not be surprised if they go 1-7, 0-8, and that's going to move them down a ton in the Eastern Conference. And it really just is disappointing to see because Franz Wagner was playing at such a high level, and I really enjoyed watching this Orlando Magic team. But if we look at their roster here quickly, we're going to need a lot of guys to step up, and they kind of are limited at the small forward, power forward, wing position. They have a lot of good guards and a lot of good guard depth with guys like Cole Anthony, Anthony Black, Jalen Suggs. They have KCP. They have a lot of good guards. Even Gary Harris gives you solid minutes. Caleb Houston's pretty good. Jet Howard. Like, they have a lot of good young rookie guards, young guards, point guards, shooting guards, stuff of that nature. But at the small forward and power forward position, they were really only looking at Franz Wagner, who's now going to be out for a month. Paulo Banchero, we don't really know the timeline for him coming back. So if you're looking at that small forward, power forward position, you're looking at Tristan Da Silva. You're looking at Jonathan Isaac, who's going to need to give you a lot more play. And they have good centers as well. They have Mo Wagner. They have Wendell Carter Jr. I think their center position is very solid. I think their guard and point guard position is very solid. But man, oh man, do they not have much small forward. So it's looking rough for the Orlando Magic, and I think you're going to need a lot of guys to step up offensively because Franz Wagner was their main option, their number one option, their main scorer, playmaker, facilitator. Even though he's not a point guard, he's a small forward. He's 6'10", 6'9", whatever you want to call him. He was their main offensive playmaker, even though they have guards like Jalen Suggs and KCP, but those guys are more of defenders and are really impactful on that side of the ball, but don't give you too much offense and playmaking. So you're going to need a lot of guys to step up here. I'm really expecting Jalen Suggs to step up. I thought he's been really good on the defensive side of the ball this year, but I think you're going to need his points per game to go up. 15.5 is nice, and I feel like that's pretty good for Jalen Suggs, but you're going to need his overall game to step up a lot more. You could even expect KCP to get a lot more touches and a lot more shots. He's been averaging 8 points per game on the season. You would hope to see that maybe rise above 10 points because he's going to be getting a lot more looks and a lot more shots. And just in general, I guess they're going to have to play a lot through more of their guards and their centers. Maybe Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Wagner. They're going to get a lot more looks under the basket because, Franz was taking a lot of shots. He was scoring over 24 points per night, and rightfully so because he was playing at such a high level. So if we quickly look here at the standings in the Eastern Conference, we can kind of see where did the Magic, kind of fare out right now, and they're 16-9, and they had a pretty decent lead as third seed in the Eastern Conference. And I was so excited to watch this Orlando Magic team when they got Paulo Banchero back and he was healthy, and maybe you can get him back within the next couple weeks, hopefully, because he did get injured on, I think it was October 30th or October 31st, so right around the end of October, maybe start of November. So it's been over a month since Paulo Banchero has been injured. So if he can come back in the next couple weeks, maybe you can get saved by that, because this Orlando Magic team, when healthy, I still think is a very competitive team. They're feisty. They played really good defense. They're fun to watch. They can score offensively when they have Paulo and Franz. This is a Orlando Magic team that would be a really hard out for even any of these top Eastern Conference teams like Boston and Cleveland. You would not want to play Orlando in the first round because now Orlando's probably going to drop quite a bit of games where we could see the Knicks definitely pass them up. We could see the Bucks and the Hawks probably pass them up in the standings as well. And maybe if the Magic, don't get healthy relatively soon, if they finish as like the 6th seed, you're not going to want to be the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference because that's going to be a very tough first round matchup. And I just quickly want to talk a little bit more here about Franz because the season he was having is, to me, definitely an all-star caliber season, maybe in a little bit less of a little bit weaker of an Eastern Conference, and especially the superstar of the Magic and Paulo Banchero being injured. He's been asked to step up and do a lot more, and I thought he's done a great job of that. I mean, Franz Wagner has been having such a good start to the season, and his improvement offensively has been so much fun to watch. He's up now to over 24 points per game, while still also grabbing you 6 boards and getting you 6 assists per game as well. And that's a huge jump playmaking wise from Franz compared to last season, where he only averaged 3.5 assists, where this season he's now up to 5.5 assists to 6 assists. He's at 5.7, somewhere in that middle ground. So the playmaking has been a huge improvement for Franz. Even his 3-point shot hasn't been great this season at only 32%, but it was at 28% last year, and that was, I would say, Franz's biggest flaw last year was definitely his 3-point shooting, but he's still fairly efficient from 2 and field goal, right? Like, he's shooting 52% from the 2, and he's shooting about 46.5% from the field. So a solid all-around player in Franz Wagner. I think he was definitely going to be an all-star this year, with maybe a weaker Eastern Conference looking at all-stars, because the West has like 20, 25 names that could be really considered as an all-star this year, where the Eastern Conference do obviously have great players: Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Giannis, so many, Jalen Brunson, like, you can name the list, Damian Lillard. There's so many good players in the East, but still, I feel like Franz Wagner was going to be an all-star this season, and if he's going to be out for the next month or so, his all-star chances are starting to diminish and kind of dwell, which is super disappointing and frustrating to see, even as an NBA fan. Like, even if you're not an Orlando Magic fan, this is still very, very disappointing to see, but it will be interesting over the next couple months. Where do the Orlando Magic go from here? Can they try to stay competitive and feisty, and can they try to stay afloat while Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner are coming back to being healthy? Can they maybe try to stay afloat and stay above 500? Can they maybe get a couple wins against Miami or Milwaukee? Can they try to stay competitive and maybe get a game from Boston or Oklahoma City? Will be very interesting to watch over the next month or so. But let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this Franz Wagner injury? Definitely very disappointing to see and very frustrating, but I'm definitely praying for a speedy recovery for Franz Wagner. I absolutely loved watching him play this year alongside the Orlando Magic, and hopefully him and Paulo Banchero can come back to be healthy, because this Orlando Magic team is legit with both of those guys fully healthy. But let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.